Kia ora and welcome to a new video from NZ Pocket Guide. Today I'm going to go over some of the best festivals that you absolutely have to check out when traveling around New Zealand. So without further ado, let's get started. So happening in March, there is one of the weirdest festivals in New Zealand. So let's begin with that. And that's the Hokitika Wild Food Festival. So Hokitika is located in the west coast of the southern end of New Zealand. And during the Wild Food Festival, you'll be able to try some of the weirdest food you've ever tried in your life. So if you consider yourself a little bit of a foodie and are into eating grubs and other weird seafoods, well, maybe this is a place for you. Alright, so probably the most popular festival in the entirety of New Zealand is called Rhythm and Vines. It is happening in the Gisborne area on the northern end of New Zealand, and it's happening over the New Year's Eve period. So it's happening over the New Year's Eve period around Gisborne because in New Zealand we like to say that Gisborne is the first city in the world to see the sunrise. So if you want to be one of the first person in the world to see the sunrise for the new year and enjoy some epic music festivals, when Rhythm and Vines is for you. Not to be outdone, the southern end of New Zealand also has its own version of the Rhythm and Vines Festival, and that's called Rhythm and Alps. It happens in the town of Wanaka, and it's basically yet another music festival happening over the New Year's Eve period. So depending on where you are located at New Year's Eve, well, one or the other will be the most suited for you. Next up on our list, we have Matariki. Matariki is a brand new public holiday in New Zealand. Literally in 2022, that was the first time ever that Matariki was an official public holiday in New Zealand. It's happening in June, and it usually is the kickstart of the ski season in New Zealand. So that's one of the things that people like to do around that time of the year. But more importantly, Matariki is an important Maori holiday. So there is a lot of events happening in all places in New Zealand, and some of the best ones are located in the town of Rotorua. Another great festival that is also happening in June and is the Queenstown Winter Festival. The Queenstown Winter Festival features amazing musical acts as well as, well, it's in Queenstown. It's a big party. Next up on our list, we have Polyfest. It usually happens in March, and Polyfest is the festival based and themed around the Polynesian culture. So the Maori culture is a part of the Polynesian cultures, but on top of that, New Zealand has very strong ties with a lot of the South Pacific nations surrounding it. So a lot of the South Pacific community of New Zealand are gathering all together, showcasing their amazing cultures. It's vibrant, it's colorful, it tastes delicious. It's a festival that is definitely worth checking out. And finally, let's wrap up with yet another music festival, but located in Hamilton this time. If in January you didn't have enough partying over New Year's, check out Soundsplash for even more live shows and live events. Alright, so that's everything that I have for you today. There is much more for you on nzpocketguide.com, and the whole team is joining me in wishing you the best time ever in New Zealand.